Hello and welcome to the CNY Business Connection. I'm Jason Weinstein. Coming up on this week's show, e-cigarettes have proven to be a profitable industry for some New York State companies, but how much longer will it be a legal industry? Plus, Governor Cuomo makes a bet on gambling in his state budget, but is it a bad hand being dealt to some local municipalities? But we'll begin with the latest in business news from around the area. Business leaders in upstate New York are feeling more optimistic about economic conditions in 2011 than at any time in the past 4 years, according to a new survey released by Buffalo-based First Niagara Financial Group. Although optimism is up, overall confidence is still mixed, according to the company. 35% of CEOs at private for-profit companies with sales between $5 million and $150 million in the major upstate cities expect better economic conditions in New York next year. Another 33% expect worsening conditions, compared with 41% a year ago. The overall confidence index among business leaders is at 98.4, meaning nearly equal percentages of CEOs are both optimistic and pessimistic about conditions in their industries and across the state. The index is up 12 points from last year and more than 59 points from 2 years ago. A company in the hills of Ithaca is hoping its technology can keep beaches cleaner. Rheonics won a $500,000 grant from the National Science Foundation that will support continued development of a system to detect contamination in water. Rheonics technology has a number of applications beyond water testing, including human and veterinary in vitro diagnostics, food and beverage manufacturing, and more. On the water testing front, the company is working on a system to test recreational water for bacteria. Beaches around the country are routinely tested to guard against contamination, according to Rheonics. The NSF funding is a Small Business Innovation Research Phase 2 grant. The company earlier won NSF money in Phase 1 and 1B grants. New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand has announced the New York State Foundation for Science, Technology, and Innovation, or NYSTAR, will use federal funding of more than $1.3 million to help strengthen manufacturing in the Empire State. According to Gillibrand's office, New York has lost more than 160,000 manufacturing jobs since 2001, or nearly 1/4 of its manufacturing base. NYSTAR's Technology Acceleration Project will work to leverage the state's prototyping and technology facilities to better serve manufacturers in their quest to develop new products, according to NYSTAR.
I have probably the best wild trout fishing in New York State.
I decided to open up a bakery because my grandma.
I want to instill in others a sense of belief in themselves.
The road to self-employment begins with perfecting elevator speech, a 30-second commercial introducing you and your business. That's one of the first lessons at Broome Community College's Entrepreneurial Assistance Program. In a time when unemployment is high, Program Director Janet Hertzog says educational classes on business give people hope.
That's one of the things that we see that it really gives people hope and really gets them being more creative in their thinking and deciding what they want to do or what they want to be when they grow up.
The program is in its 6th year and very popular. With room for only 21 students, 19 remain on the waiting list. It's also made to be affordable. Funded by a government grant through Empire State Development, classes are free to students who complete the 60-hour program. No arguing with that.
I am attempting to take a very small company global, and I need help in every aspect that I possibly can.
Students receive in-depth counseling on product development, marketing, money management, and support networking.
And then on top of that, we provide technical assistance afterwards. We help them develop their web pages, work more on marketing.
They've already had quite a few success stories in this class, from a quilt shop in Walton to a social adult day program in Johnson City to an organizing business in Sanitaria Springs. They're looking for their next success story as we speak.
Ever since it was apparent that Andrew Cuomo would be New York's new governor, both pro- and anti-gas drilling forces have been watching what direction the new administration would take concerning the industry. Well, now New York's new environmental chief is making it plain that he does not want the state to wait 2 years before drilling deep into the Marcellus Shale formation. Acting DEC Chief Joe Martin says the state should proceed, but cautiously, with gas drilling, rather than wait for the federal government's review of the process, which could take another 24 months. Martin's indicated that the drilling could proceed under state DEC updated regulations, which will be ready in June. How about the prospect of an American president being flown around in a helicopter built in China, a copter that could have been built by Lockheed Martin in a Owego? Congressman Maurice Hinchey continues urging the Department of Defense to reject a Chinese bid to build a presidential helicopter for America. Hinchey tried to convince the Pentagon to keep the Lockheed VH-71 presidential helicopter going after it was scrapped because of cost overruns. Now a state-run Chinese company is vying for the contract. Hinchey says considering the sensitivity of the project, the aircraft should be built by Americans.
So if some other country, whether it's Chinese or any other country, actually won this contract, our most sensitive national security information, the technology and systems we use to transport our president, could be put directly into the hands of a foreign power. The security of this country would be in jeopardy. I can't imagine a worse mistake.
Hinchey says he's written to Secretary of Defense Robert Gates telling him that in addition to security concerns, accepting a bid from China would be a slap in the face to American workers. When we come back, Governor Cuomo gambling on betting in the state budget, but is it a bad hand for some local municipalities? Plus, the latest bit of business wisdom from someone who has lived it, thanks to our friends at Prendismo.com.
I'm Norm Poltenson. I've published the Central New York Business Journal for 25 years. Our success is based on the fact that we know only one audience, owners and managers of businesses in Central New York. We publish stories for them, we don't offer sound bites, and we always source our information. Maybe technology's changed since I started publishing 25 years ago, but not our mission. You can always rely on the Central New York Business Journal providing your business news.
I'm Susan from Tarjac. You may know us as the source for the best camo for your guns and bows, but we do so much more. Our custom work with automotive parts can transform any vehicle, our ATVs, sleds, four-wheelers, motorcycles. We've received national recognition for our work with Orange County Choppers, and we are most proud of our partnership with the future servicemen by providing customized helmets for the Army-Navy game. From the national stage to your favorite hunting ground, it's Tarjac.
Welcome back. Governor Cuomo makes a bet on gambling in the state budget, but is it a bad hand being dealt to some local municipalities? Steve Craig has more.
They look like slot machines. Official name, video lottery terminals. Adding VLTs to a horse racetrack gets you a racino. Tioga County got this one in 2006 and got a share of the state's tax on VLTs. $400,000 the first year, but whittled down to less than half that as Albany kept more and more to close state budget gaps. Now, even worse news.
I've been told that they're going to adjust that formula again so that they keep it all, which is going to cost us $183,000, and everything else being the same, which won't happen. But nevertheless, that's about 1% of our tax levy right there.
The state's original rationale in sharing the video lottery terminal tax was to help the town and county cover the costs associated with having the racino here. In the case of Tioga County, those costs include maintaining River Road, which is in pretty good shape right now, but not necessarily 5 years from now.
There's also deputy overtime for traffic control at concerts here.
But it's just another blow that puts more stress on either your property tax levy, which is now going to be capped, and then a lot of counties are going to hope, I guess, that sales tax recovers, consumer spending picks up, and sales tax recovers.
And it's not just counties. Faring even worse on a percentage basis, the town of Nichols. The Cuomo budget would wipe out its $103,000 share of the VLT take.
Our thanks to Steve for that. Time now for the latest bit of business wisdom from someone who has lived it, thanks to our friends at Prendismo.com, partnering with entrepreneurs for success.
One big misunderstanding. It is misunderstood that it's not easy to make money. And to be successful as an entrepreneur takes a great deal of focused training. It takes training in, we think, 14 different business disciplines. The discipline of knowing how to pick a business, how to do a business plan, computer tools, marketing, accounting and cash flow, finance. We think there is an array of knowledge that anybody starting a business needs to know, and we don't think there are shortcuts. It's not to say that it requires a higher level of training from the standpoint of schools, but it requires certain basic business know-how. One example, knowing how to predict future liquidity is a difference between going up in an airplane and knowing whether you've got enough gas to do the flight or not, or coming down in flames. And there is such a simple way of predicting future liquidity. And people never have heard of this, but they need to know. People need to know accounting.
We hope you enjoyed that. When we come back, it's our latest business improvement segment. We'll have the latest from Cyber City with their tech tip and the latest from Bob Stezzi from Stezzi Training and Consulting.
I'm Norm Poltenson. I've published the Central New York Business Journal for 25 years. Our success is based on the fact that we know only one audience, owners and managers of businesses in Central New York. We publish stories for them, we don't offer sound bites, and we always source our information. Maybe technology's changed since I started publishing 25 years ago, but not our mission. You can always rely on the Central New York Business Journal providing your business news.
I'm Susan from Tarjac. You may know us as the source for the best camo for your guns and bows, but we do so much more. Our custom work with automotive parts can transform any vehicle, our ATVs, sleds, four-wheelers, motorcycles. We've received national recognition for our work with Orange County Choppers, and we are most proud of our partnership with the future servicemen by providing customized helmets for the Army-Navy game. From the national stage to your favorite hunting ground, it's Tarjac.
Welcome back. Time now for our business improvement segment, and we'll kick it off with our latest tech tip from Cyber City.
Hi, I'm Daryl Dennison, Account Manager at Cyber City, a division of Blue Storm Technologies. Many of our new clients come to us with a simple hardware strategy. Buy the least expensive items on an as-needed basis. Granted, it's a simple and easy approach to managing your costs and hardware upgrades. However, let's look at two situations where making hardware selections based on business strategy has proven more valuable to our clients. The first is the importance of buying business strength products instead of home computer products. Every day I get asked, why can't I pull out my Sunday flyer and go buy a product that is on sale for my office? There's more to this equation than just the price. What about high reliability and compatibility with other products on your network? You don't want to be facing compatibility issues when you're on a deadline to get a proposal out the door. A successful hardware refresh strategy focuses on defining user tiers based on their hardware needs. For instance, some users need high-speed processors and large storage solutions to work with complex data modeling, while others may only need a machine for data input. In these cases, more powerful machines should be purchased and placed in the hands of those with the complex processing needs. Keep in mind that even in this refresh scenario, everyone is still getting a hardware upgrade that will help them perform their jobs. Additionally, this ongoing process provides an intangible but positive morale boost to your team. The technology upgrade makes them feel they are being rewarded as valuable members of the organization. To learn more how you can get a review of your business's hardware strategy or the other strategic IT issues facing your business, please contact myself or your Cyber City account manager, or visit our website at cybercity.com.
Thanks to our friends at Cyber City for that. Time now to turn things over to Bob Stezzi from Stezzi Training and Consulting.
We all know how important effective communication is to the success of our organizations. Today we're going to talk about a very critical communication skill, the art of giving feedback. Everybody needs feedback. It's how others let us know how well we're doing on the job. There are two kinds of feedback that we'll talk about today. Reinforcing feedback is when we let people know that they're doing something well and we want them to continue, and constructive feedback is when we're telling people that they need to do things differently. Managers, supervisors, and team leaders all have an ongoing responsibility to give people timely feedback. It's also very important for peers to have the ability to give one another feedback. So you might want to consider feedback as information that comes from any source that helps people to be more effective on the job. Today we're going to give you 6 tips on how to give feedback effectively. Number 1, make sure that when you give people feedback, your intention is to be helpful. Never give people feedback to flatter them or to punish them. Second, feedback should be timely. In other words, give people feedback as close to the observed behavior as possible. Sometimes, though, people are a little too stressed or too busy, so in those cases, you might want to wait for a better time to give people feedback. Number 3, feedback should be based on specific observable behavior. It's all well and good to let people know they're doing a good job or that they need to improve in a particular area in non-specific terms, but when you let people know exactly what it is that they're doing, that they need to improve or continue, it's a lot more helpful. So make sure that your feedback is specific. Tip number 4, make sure to explain the impacts of behavior. Let people know how their behavior is either helping or hurting the results of the organization. Tip number 5, offer suggestions. Let people know what they can do to continue to do an effective job and what things they need to do differently. Tip number 6 is very important. Let's make sure we don't get carried away with too much constructive feedback. People often say that they can do 100 things right in a day, but the one thing they hear about is the thing that they did wrong. That gets kind of old and makes people feel defensive and can be very discouraging over the long haul. So let's make sure that we don't just give people constructive feedback, but we give them lots of reinforcing feedback and other forms of encouragement. If you'd like to have an in-house workshop on how to improve feedback in your organization, go to stesitraining.com. Thank you.
Our thanks to Bob for that. When we come back, e-cigarettes have proven to be a profitable industry for some New York State companies. But how much longer will it be a legal industry?
I'm Susan from Tarjac. You may know us as the source for the best camo for your guns and bows, but we do so much more. Our custom work with automotive parts can transform any vehicle, our ATVs, sleds, four-wheelers, motorcycles. We've received national recognition for our work with Orange County Choppers, and we are most proud of our partnership with the future servicemen by providing customized helmets for the Army-Navy game. From the national stage to your favorite hunting ground, it's Tarjac.
Welcome back. E-cigarettes have meant a lot of green for some New York State companies, but how much longer will that green be legal to take in? Chris Whalen has more.
It looks like a cigarette, it's used like a cigarette, and it tastes like a cigarette. But it's not.
It utilizes a liquid nicotine solution to create a tar-free and odorless vapor that is just like smoke.
Electronic cigarettes burst on the scene just a few years ago and have caught on with smokers looking for another way to get their nicotine fix. It's built a lucrative company for John Burns, but now New York State could be crushing out his business with 2 new bills that have reached Albany.
There's one bill in the Assembly that would effectively ban the sale of e-cigarettes in New York State, period. And there's a new bill that just was introduced in the Senate that would simply ban the sale to minors.
While Lupardo and Burns understand and support keeping the product away from those less than 18 years of age, an all-out ban is a bit more puzzling. The reason? Lack of information on exactly what electronic cigarettes do.
But there needs to be regulation and more scientific studies to determine if these products are hazardous to consumers.
Regulation of electronic cigarettes has been tough since the Food and Drug Administration hasn't been able to classify exactly which category they fall under. It's technically not a tobacco product since the device contains no tobacco, and there's no proof that it's an effective smoking cessation device, although Burns says he has customers who use it as such.
You can choose from high, medium, low, or non-nicotine, which allows a user to change their nicotine level at any given time. So people may very well be doing that.
The health department says it's spoken with smokers who agree, but others who say the new nicotine supplier actually fuels their habit even more.
Some smokers are using it to sustain their addiction because with our clean indoor air laws, there's places you can't smoke indoors, so then they use this product to smoke indoors. And therefore, if they weren't able to use it, maybe they would be more likely to quit.
All points that will likely be brought up as the debate over whether to put the sale of electronic cigarettes up in smoke continues.
Our thanks to Chris for that, and we hope you enjoyed this episode of the CNY Business Connection. Until next time, I'm Jason Weinstein. Have a good one.